After watching Superman again and again, one thing becomes crystal clear: this universe can handle everything. Aliens, kaiju, interdimensional imps, even small human stories about identity and hope, it all works. This isn't a world that needs to choose between grounded and fantastical, it embraces both. In one scene, you've got Clark Kent struggling with whether he belongs on Earth, and in the next, he's battling a creature the size of a skyscraper. Yet none of it feels out of place. Why? Because James Gunn built a world that makes space for contrast. It doesn't try to force every story to feel the same. And that's exactly why Robert Pattinson's Batman could slot into this universe without breaking a single rule. The idea that Batman's gritty realism somehow wouldn't work in a world with Superman is outdated.
No, Robert Pattinson didn't reach out, and now I'm angry about it. To hear from him.
What a jerk.
Superman just showed us how you can go from heartfelt to chaotic to cosmic in minutes and still keep the story grounded. If this version of Metropolis can exist with a giant monster tearing up the skyline and an imp from the fifth dimension floating in the sky, then Gotham's moody alleys and serial killers don't feel out of place. In fact, they become necessary. They add depth. And the contrast? That's what makes it all interesting. Now, before I continue with all the evidence, I'm giving away 5 Fantastic Four IMAX tickets. All you gotta do is be subscribed and comment W video down below. And yes, I can see who's subbed, so no cheating. Alright, back into the video. While Superman is out here redefining what a superhero universe can look like, the Batman is stuck in limbo. Matt Reeves, the mastermind behind Robert Pattinson's gritty detective noir take on The Dark Knight, handed in the first draft of The Batman Part 2, but that was after years of silence. The movie was announced back in 2022, and here we are, 3 years later, with barely a whisper of actual production. The only concrete detail? A projected release date in late 2027. And here's where things get shaky. If you were watching closely during the final battle of Superman, something strange flashes across the screen. In the middle of the chaos, right as citizens are being evacuated, there's a road sign that reads, "Gotham City, keep left." It's quick, easy to miss, but it's there, and it changes everything. Because if Gotham exists in this world, this version of Metropolis, then Batman might already be out there. But that's not the only breadcrumb. During Superman's massive kaiju battle earlier in the film, a different sign appears. One that quietly reads, "Major flood causes suffering." Again, it's subtle, but if you've seen The Batman, you already know what that could mean. The climax of that film ends with Gotham underwater, devastated by a massive flood. That headline could be referencing that exact event, which would mean the Batman has already happened in this universe. James Gunn has already been asked directly about whether Robert Pattinson's Batman could be folded into the main DC universe. And what did he say? He admitted he's thought about it.
Have you contemplated, have you had the conversation, have you reconsidered integrating Pattinson's Batman into your DCU?
I contemplate everything, John. It's like, we gotta talk about everything.
It's not just James Gunn who's been asked about crossing the streams. Matt Reeves was asked point blank if Superman could ever show up in the Batman Part 2. And here's the twist. He didn't say no.
You discovered that there was an alien that was Superman. There'd be a lot of shock. I mean, people would have to say like, oh my God, and maybe that would be the one fantastical element. But to be honest with you, that is not the intention at this point, to figure out how to make that come. If, look, we should be so lucky that this is a world that people embrace and that they say like, oh my God, we want to see what would happen when those things collide. I think if that challenge ever presents itself, it would be an exciting one to explore.
Matt Reeves is a perfectionist. He's known for taking his time, overseeing every detail, and building stories with surgical precision. But that also means progress comes at a crawl. In a recent interview, Pattinson admitted that he just found out what the Batman Part 2 is actually about. And his reaction? He said Matt Reeves is being very, very careful with the writing.
I mean, there's a lot. I know what it's about now. It's just, like Matt is a very careful writer. But I finally now know what it's about, and it's very cool.
The 2028 release places The Batman Part 2 just months before Avengers Secret Wars. Imagine that, a grounded detective thriller competing with the multiverse apocalypse. Timing alone could bury the film no matter how good it is, which raises the question, what's Warner Brothers even doing here? When James Gunn and Peter Safran officially took over DC, one of the biggest questions fans asked was, are we getting just one Batman or two? And at the time, their answer was firm. Gunn may have unintentionally left the door open. During his Superman press tour, Gunn explained how every DCU project going forward is meant to have a unique tone.
This movie is very different from the R-rated movie that we're making, a body horror movie with Clayface. It's very different from, the Sergeant Rock movie we're developing. It's very different from Supergirl, which is a space fantasy with...
The goal is to showcase different corners of the DC universe, all coexisting. without needing to feel the same. That's where things get interesting. If Gunn's entire vision is built around tonal diversity, then why can't the Batman fit in? Reeves' Batman world is already a distinct corner of the DC multiverse. It's grim, grounded, and meticulous, but it doesn't contradict Superman, it complements him. We've already seen this work in Marvel, where Daredevil, Moon Knight, and Thor live in the same universe without stepping on each other's tone. And remember, Gunn said himself, the DCU is meant to feel like a wide, textured world, not a copy-paste formula. So, either Gunn contradicted himself, or he's finally beginning to see what fans have been saying for years: Pattinson's Batman can work in the DCU. Let's be real, the idea that Pattinson's Batman can't fit in the DCU has always felt weak, because at the end of the day, the only thing stopping it is commitment, not logic. Think about where we are right now. In Superman, we've already seen kaiju attacks, fourth-dimensional imps, and Metropolis reacting to chaos like it's just Tuesday. That world is weird, and they're owning it. But here's the key. Gotham doesn't have to be. It can stay gritty, grounded, brutal. That's the beauty of Batman. He lives in the shadows while gods fight in the sky. So what's the fix? You just do it. You say Gotham is part of the same world, but a city so plagued by crime and corruption that the government doesn't even try to intervene anymore. You explain that Batman operates under the radar, feared by villains, ignored by politicians, unknown to the rest of the superpowered world. That's exactly how it worked in the early days of the MCU. Iron Man had no idea Thor existed, and nobody talked about Wakanda. And if you really want to smooth it out, you lean into the timeline. The Batman films are set years before Superman. Bruce is still young, still evolving. By the time the heroes unite, he's the seasoned veteran we see in Brave and the Bold. The timelines don't clash, they actually complete each other. There's precedent for this too. Marvel did it with Daredevil Born Again, a soft reboot of a Netflix show that was once non-canon. Now it's part of the MCU. Fans didn't care how it happened, they just cared that it did. And Gunn? He's already making canon flexible. With Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, and Waller, he's pulling from old timelines, twisting them into new ones, and nobody's blinking. Now here's something weird. James Gunn was recently on Late Night with Seth Meyers, talking about Superman, the DCU, and all the usual promo stuff. But then out of nowhere, he mentions Matt Reeves' Batman.
My partner and I took over DC Studios. We thought it would be great to, start off with the original superhero. We've got Matt Reeves doing Batman, so we were excited about that, and then we wanted to do Superman.
Nobody on that couch asked about Batman. Seth didn't say the word Gotham, yet Gunn makes sure to mention Reeves by name, almost like he's trying to draw a mental connection between Superman and Pattinson's world without outright saying it. Because when Gunn says we got Matt Reeves doing Batman, it sounds less like a line from a guy separating two universes and more like a producer gently setting the stage. And let's be real, he didn't need to say it, but he did, and in this industry that usually means something. The idea of seeing those two energies collide, grit meets hope, rage meets compassion, feels right. It's the contrast fans want, and Gunn already said the DCU will thrive on contrast. The Batman is already a proven hit with a very distinct tone, a gritty, detective noir vibe, and by Gunn's own words, that kind of contrast is exactly what he wants to build into the DCU. So, if he believes multiple tones can live in the same sandbox, then what's stopping Pattinson's Batman from stepping in? Nothing. Except maybe politics, or contracts, or pride. Because here's the thing, if Brave and the Bold falls apart, DC will need a Batman now, not in 2030, not after another reboot. And if you've already got one of the most critically acclaimed Batmen of all time just sitting there, it starts to look less like a creative decision and more like a no-brainer.